Hello and good day everybody at the Lutz Academy. My name is Jeremiah and I'm going to be teaching you guys how to play some bass. This is my first lesson at Lutz, so I am going to just keep it simple today. We're going to talk about tuning the bass and talk a little bit about the action and making sure the action is set up correctly. And when I say action, I'm talking about the height of the strings off of the fretboard. It's very important that your strings aren't too high, because if they are, you're going to be fighting that much harder to fret your notes. And as new bass players, you haven't quite fully developed the muscles in your hands and fingers that you need to really execute music on the bass. And that comes with time and practice. So if your bass has got really bad action right out of the gate, then you're going to be fighting twice as hard as you need to be. And on the other end of the spectrum, if your strings are too close to the fretboard, then you're going to get a lot of fret buzz and your tone isn't going to be as clean as it could be. So if you haven't never adjusted your bass, most basses have the same bridge here. There's a little Allen key screw in each of these saddles that can bring the height up and down. But if you've never played with this before, I would suggest maybe just taking it to a professional to set that action up for you and get it right into the sweet spot. And when it's set up perfect, it's somewhat effortless to fret your notes, right? And of course you will build up finger strength and dexterity with time and practice. So once you got your action set up and it's right where you want it, that's going to make things that much more enjoyable for you. Alright, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about tuning. It's very important that your bass is in tune anytime before you practice, before you take a lesson, before you even just want to jam around and have some fun. Take the time to tune up your bass. I don't know if some of you guys hopefully have some tuners at home. I'm using a Boss tuner here, which is a great tuner, a little more expensive than some of the other tuners, but I'm sure if you go to your music store, you can pick up a half-decent tuner from 20 to 30 bucks. And most tuners are the same. You either have a needle or a digital display to let you know if you're on mark, and a great way to tune in. And then as time progresses, you'll eventually have to tune using your ear. And so I'm going to walk through each note and tell you how we got this tuned. We're tuned to standard tuning, which is 440, and that means the A is actually at a 440 frequency, and that's where that term comes from. And I'm going to start with the first string. This is the big fat string. It'll always be labeled first string. First string is going to be tuned to an E. Second string is tuned to an A, our A string. Third string is our D string, and it's tuned to D. And the fourth string is our G string, and it's tuned to a G. So we have E, A, D, and G. And if you got the pen and paper, I'd write those down. Just maybe even draw 4 lines, and at the top of each line, put the notes. You got an E on your first one, an A on your second one, a D on your third one, and a G on the fourth one. And so when you're looking at your tuner, I'm just, for example, here, I'll give you how my tuner works here. I'm going to hit my E, and it's going to dial into E, right? A, and my tuner's reading it as A. So just for fun here, I'm going to tune, to give an example, I'm going to tune down. When I'm out of tune, I always like pushing up into the note when I'm finding the right pitch, because then you got your thumb on the tuning peg here and it gives you a lot of control. So I find if you go too high, then you're trying to pull it back and you're using your finger, it doesn't give you as much control. So I always just go tune it down, drop it down, and bring it back up to that A. And etc., right? D, G. Yeah, so then once you got your bass in tune, you got your action set up, you're ready to start rocking. So next week I'll show some more tips and tricks on picks, finger picking. Eventually we're going to start breaking down some scales, some major scales, some minor scales, some blues scales, grooves. The sky's the limit. Bass is an amazing instrument, and completely fun. Alright, so when you come back for your next lesson, I hope the action on your bass is set up and your bass is in tune, and I'll be ready to show you some more tips and tricks. Until next time.